I haven't done a Mark Dice reaction video in a while, so let's take a listen to this one. You will never believe what they are doing. Link in the description below. Go show him some love. I love this guy. Very bass, very articulate, done his research, knows what he's talking about, and he's bold with it. I love that. Let's get to the video.
Well, politicians and news commentators have always had to watch what they say about certain subjects so they don't get fired. Artists have always been seen as the last bastions of free speech, and censoring art, no matter how provocative or offensive it is to some people, was always seen as something only a tyrannical government would do. Major music labels and movie studios have always stood by their artists and vigorously resisted calls for censorship, championing the freedom of expression, whether it was NWA's famous F the Police or blasphemous anti-Christian films like The Da Vinci Code or Martin Scorsese's The Last Temptation of Christ. But near the end of 2017, Spotify, the popular music streaming service, announced that they would start censoring songs from hate bands. What is a hate band? Whatever the Southern Poverty Law Center says. Best known for hating Christians and white people, it's not surprising the SPLC eventually got their tentacles wrapped around Spotify and other streaming services to help them keep a lookout for hateful content in music. Other streaming services like Apple and Pandora followed suit, banning supposed racist music by white people who are pro-white or who support identity politics for white people, while allowing rap music that blatantly calls for the murder of police officers from people like Ice-T, NWA, and Snoop Dogg, who depicted himself murdering President Trump in one of his music videos, and countless other rappers who spew anti-whiteism in their lyrics. As you know, it's common for rappers to diss crackers and white boys in their music, but that's just fine. Hating white people isn't considered to be racist to the left. And I'm not saying that those who display black fragility in their music or on social media should be banned. I laugh whenever I hear some fragile black person use the word cracker, thinking it hurts white people's feelings. It just shows their weakness and their white envy. Many are jealous of white people, and instead of working to better themselves and their circumstances, they just hate white people and use us as a scapegoat for all of their problems. And Jay-Z's albums are okay, despite calling women is in literally 50% of his songs. I'm going to bleep that out because I try to run a family-friendly show here, but it's the B word. So black rappers being misogynistic in their music is just fine. It's a major part of rap culture and rap music. It would be racist to criticize them for that, but you can't make fun of gay people or transgenders, and you especially can't criticize them in your lyrics. Christian rapper Bryson Gray has had numerous songs of his censored from the music streaming services, including his song Pride Month, denouncing the LGBT propaganda-filled month of June when virtually every Fortune 500 company not only...
Well, the thing is, what's going on here as well is, it's like the left is the one perpetuating this spirit of racism toward white people predominantly. And I would say the left is altogether racist. The supposed white liberals are as racist as it can get. But they're the one perpetuating that. And to top it off, and I will say the Bryson Gray situation was troubling to me, that they went after him. Social media, YouTube went after him. It was really, really bad. And I could tell it did have an impact on him, but he wasn't afraid. He kept on talking and preaching his words. But yeah, that's what they do. It's like this. It's not only against white people. It's like conservative values, Christian values. All of that is under attack as well. So it seems like these media platforms, once the left takes a hold of them, it turns them into a weapon to go against anyone who do not agree with them.
LGBT propaganda-filled month of June when virtually every Fortune 500 company not only posts happy gay pride messages on social media, but also changed their profile pictures to incorporate rainbows into their company logos, the symbol the LGBT people have adopted for their sexual preferences. YouTube even censored one of his songs for a line about the COVID pandemic, saying it was medical misinformation for a lyric in a song. There were calls to ban Kanye West's music from Spotify after his comments about a certain group of people in the entertainment industry. One of his songs that he released on Instagram in December of last year, titled Someday We'll All Be Free, was quickly censored for supposedly being anti-Semitic. Anti-Semitism in a song. Meanwhile, there are countless songs, particularly by heavy metal bands, which are blatantly anti-Christian, but that kind of music is just fine. One album by a heavy metal band called Marduk titled F Me Jesus is allowed on Spotify, Amazon Music, Bandcamp, YouTube, and even Walmart sells their album, which I have censored here because I run a family-friendly show. I hesitate to even describe it, but the album cover shows a naked woman using a crucifix as a dildo. And
Interesting how that goes, right? The censorship only goes thus far. I'm not for censorship. I'm not completely against it because I think when people are using their words to instigate wars and everything like that, that should be censored. But that's not what's going on here. This is politically motivated. This is something that is like, I don't like yous. I don't like what you stand for. I hate your values. Therefore, I'm going to censor you. I will not even advocate for an album that is promoting things that are very anti-Christians. I don't have to advocate against that. I can simply say, I'm okay with them even saying this about us as Christians, right? Because I can use their message in a sermon to prove, to make a Christian argument. You know what I'm saying? So I can expose what they're doing. It works to my advantage. I have a reason to make a video. I have a reason to preach something, right? And that could be used as a way to help people to see how the enemy is attacking. So I will not advocate for people who are going against Christians. I just think the way the left is going, or even these social media gurus and those propaganda machines, the issue that they have with the common people for sharing their thoughts on their platforms is problematic to me, because anything that is said against Christian is okay, but if you dare to say something against the Muslim, or you say something against certain women, if you speak against black fat women today, fat women, that's a problem. But if you speak against white people, you speak against conservative, you speak against black conservatives, it's all good. You know, a fair game. And that, to me, I don't necessarily understand the nature of this game.
The album cover shows a naked woman using a crucifix as a dildo. Amazon also sells a song titled F White People, which has a noose on the album cover. They also stock various black supremacist books that promote actual hate groups like the Black Hebrew Israelites, but banned all shirts and other merchandise that says it's okay to be white. In 2018, Spotify announced another new policy, saying they were going to start banning songs from artists who have engaged in harmful or hateful conduct in their personal lives, like domestic violence or sexual abuse. That meant that songs by R. Kelly and Michael Jackson would be pulled. But then just 3 weeks later, they reversed their decision and apologized, saying they don't want to be the moral police, but affirm that they were still going to be censoring what they called hate speech. Guns N' Roses' song, One in a Million, which was released on their 1988 album GNR Lies, includes a line about immigrants and, well, I can't even quote the lyrics or I'll get canceled, but it's a word referring to a certain group of people that rhymes with maggots. But when the studio released the Guns N' Roses box set in 2018, they didn't include that song because it has been deemed racist and homophobic. It's probably only a matter of time before other songs like Aerosmith's Dude Looks Like a Lady will be banned for being transphobic as well. Once you give liberals an inch, they demand a mile, and since they smell blood in the water, they will continue their quest to eliminate everything they find offensive. Beyonce and Lizzo, the morbidly obese singer who the media insists is beautiful, both removed the word spaz from their lyrics after they were called out by twits on Twitter for being ableist, meaning offensive towards disabled people, because spaz is short for spasm or spastic, referring to cerebral palsy or other disorders which cause people to have uncontrollable movements. Rapper Tom MacDonald was censored from the YouTube trending list after he released a song called Fake Woke.
Well, he's being shadow banned with his new song Race War. So he did put out a post recently on YouTube talking about how he's being shadow banned. So we gotta go and push that stuff forward. This is nothing new, right? I mean, when you dare to speak the truth, what do you expect? You know, the enemy hates the truth.
Was censored from the YouTube trending list after he released a song called Fake Woke, denouncing wokeness and all the political correct insanity being pushed by the left. His video immediately went viral and made it into the YouTube trending list, but was soon mysteriously removed, even though on his video the tag was still included that it made the trending list, because the censors aren't perfect. Their arrogance often causes them to overlook certain details that reveal their activities, and if you looked on the actual trending list of the YouTube trending videos that day, as it counted down, it was mysteriously missing a certain number, his. When record executive Lyor Cohen, who led Def Jam Records and later Warner Music Group, appeared on a popular hip-hop talk show called The Breakfast Club, he was pressed about why he published so much music that encourages drugs and violence.
This opioid thing, man, is
They seem like they're making it cool to be drinking lean and syrup, and
it's
to
the
be on
most
pills.
dangerous. It's the
Perks
most
and Molly's
dangerous
and-
thing that's facing our society.
Are you
So why sign an artist that would promote that?
Because I already answered that question. You weren't paying attention. She asked me talent or issues, and I said talent. But I have to. I can't give up on people.
Somebody's been exposed.
I'm saying that's hypocritical though. You're saying the
It's
opioid problem's a problem.
opportunistic.
Yeah.
I got people to feed. I got a business to run.
You're gonna make Dame Dash take this clip and call you a culture vulture.
Well, he sure seems like the kind of record executive.
I've always had this question, and I'm not gonna mention the three-letter words because they are infallible. You can't talk about them online. Why do record label feel the need to sign artists that are of dark, complex skin color? Why are they signing all these black rappers, just rappers in general, to do music that are so degenerate and evil? Why are these people doing that to the black community? Are they the real racists? Are they the ones who are really troubling the world? Which I don't want to go into this anti-Semitic rant. That's not who I am. But it's okay for us to ask questions because their communities are okay. The black community is in a bad condition, and they keep signing rappers and promote contents that are destroying black communities. These are the ones that they promote. Like, I look at like these women like Doja Cat and Cardi B and what they doing. I'm like, you guys sign these people into position of influence in the culture. Like, the average person doesn't think like that. They don't, like, you look at independent artists, they don't do that. Independent artists, they think for themselves and they come up with their own music. They may have things they say that you and I don't agree with, but they don't go to this extreme of demonic worship and promoting violence and so on. It's not to that degree. But why you guys signing on the artists that are hurting black communities, and you turn around and say, we love black people. And if you say anything about their system, you say, oh, anti-Semitic. It's like, wait, what's going on here?
That Kanye West was talking about when he got completely canceled. Lyor Cohen, by the way, has been dubbed hip-hop's biggest supervillain. And for anyone who doubts the power that music has to incite people to engage in certain kinds of behaviors, they're obviously not aware that the CIA recruited popular artists in Cuba in order to use them and their music to foment discontent in the country and encourage Cubans to rise up against the communist leader Raul Castro.
Wow, you serious?
The country and encourage Cubans to rise up against the communist leader Raul Castro. Declassified documents reveal that the U.S. government was behind a covert mission in Cuba to recruit the rappers and use them to encourage their fans to rise up against the government, and spent millions of dollars doing so through a front company, which the CIA often uses. This one was called Creative Associates International. This is all declassified. It's admitted. It sounds like a conspiracy theory to those who don't understand how things actually work, but it is another conspiracy fact. And if you think the CIA setting up phony talent agencies to covertly influence music is shocking, then wait until you learn about Operation Mockingbird, the Central Intelligence Agency's declassified scheme where they figured that they would just pay tens of thousands of dollars a year under the table to editors, reporters, and TV anchors at major media outlets to work as propagandists and gatekeepers for the government.
Yo, why are the CIA behind just about everything that is wrong in our culture? Everything. It's like, is it because they had nothing else to do with themselves, or everything? They're in politics, they're in music, they're in culture, they're in books, they're in school. It's like, what's up with these guys? Like, they don't have nothing else to do? I don't know. Just these three letters agencies need to be defunded, that's for sure.
Equally disturbing are the behind-the-scenes government connections to big tech social media platforms where they engage in censoring topics that we've seen with the release of the Twitter files. And one can only begin to imagine what has happened and continues to happen at Facebook, YouTube, and the rest. We're seeing the very principle of free speech under attack like never before, with the liberal media industrial complex even claiming that freedom of speech is dangerous and saying that conservatives have weaponized the First Amendment. There have always been restrictions on the First Amendment. For example, you can't yell fire in a crowded theater, and you can't threaten to murder someone or encourage acts of terrorism. But today, a rap song insulting LGBT extremists who believe there are 57 different genders, or white rock bands singing about being proud of their race, aren't allowed to be heard on the brand name streaming platforms, which were supposed to open up distribution channels for independent artists. But now, instead of the major record labels standing in their way, it's the streaming services. Back in March of this year, Apple censored a song called Justice for All from iTunes after it reached #1 on their charts because the song features a group of political prisoners incarcerated for being at the Capitol at the mostly peaceful protest on January 6th, who sung the Star Spangled Banner over the phone from jail, and that was recorded and then mixed with Donald Trump reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. All the proceeds from the song went to help the families of the political prisoners, many of which, as you know, have been held without bail for years, even though...
Yeah, it's crazy. That might be a reaction videos that I need to do. Justice for all, who knows?
They weren't even accused of committing any violent crimes. But shortly after the song was released, it hit #1. iTunes banned it. Then, after outrage on social media, they reinstated the song and claimed, as usual, it was just a mistake.
Yeah, mistake.
Just a mistake that they banned the #1 song on their platform. It's always just a mistake. What really happened is the censors dump information down the memory hole on a regular basis, hoping nobody notices. And when the brand name conservatives are too cowardly to speak out against such censorship, it flies under the radar, not getting any media coverage. And then they feel they've done their job correctly. But when people actually grow some balls and denounce the censorship and it starts trending on social media, making headlines, and members of Congress start looking into it, then sometimes the big tech platforms reverse their decision, and then they always say it was just a mistake. If you like my serious monologues like this, then you'll love reading my book. So order the Liberal Media Industrial Complex in paperback from Amazon.com. Download the ebook from Kindle, iBooks, Nook, or Google Play. My books are a lot more in-depth and hardcore than my videos, which I have to tone down a bit for obvious reasons. So head on over to Amazon.com or click the link in the description below and check them out.
Good job, Mark Dice. I don't know. We got a problem in this culture. The censorship is a major problem. And I used to think, okay, social media is they own their platforms, they do whatever they want. But when the government is using social media to censor the voices that they don't agree with, that's a problem. Something has to be done. I don't know how Congress is going to have this thing addressed, and I think that's probably the danger of capitalism here. When you're a capitalist, there's only so much government can reach into your pocket and do certain things. At the same time, you can choose to lay in bed with them and carry out their dirty deeds as well. So that's a problem. I don't know how that's going to work out. I just think we need to be wise, we need to be smart in the way that we speak. And I think like the way Mark Dice is doing it. I mean, YouTube hasn't been very friendly to me. There's been time when they definitely calm down, tone down. But most of the time they've done me dirty. I got like 3 strikes that I'm still trying to fight up against right now. But anyway, I'm more grateful than anything. I'm being very careful at the same time, using a little bit more wisdom in the way that I speak. And, I think what's going on right now is that truth is under attack. If I may let me pull this up very quickly and bring this video to an end. Truth is under attack. So in all the phases and stages of what we see, we just have to keep in mind that Satan has a problem with the truth. It's as simple as that. And he's making sure is weaponizing this system to muffle the truth and to oppress the truth from coming out. Is that going to work? I don't personally think so, but I mean, it's worth trying, I guess. Look what it says, in judgment is turned away backward. This is where we are. And justice standing afar off. For truth is fallen into the street, and equity cannot enter. This is where we are today. Truth is falling into the street, friends. Truth is under attack. Truth has no value today. They don't want to hear it. Yeah, truth faileth. And he that departed from evil maketh himself a prey. The Lord saw it and displeases him, and that there was no judgment. So this is where we are. Truth is under attack. And the sad thing is, it's the truth that set us free. In John chapter 8, verse 32. Without the truth of God, there is no freedom. So the word of God is also truth. So you can obviously tell, no wonder why, ultimately what's under attack here is Christian values. Although it doesn't always come out looking like that. Genesis 50 verse 20 tells us that this is when we have to use a little bit of wisdom for those of us that are online. Understand this, that, but as for you, you thought evil against me, but God meant it unto good. So what the enemy is trying to use as evil, God can turn it around and do good with it. It's just one of those things right now. You can't really understand that. But I think ultimately we're going to look back and see that, you know what, no matter what's going on right now, if you and I continue to be wise as serpent and harmless as dove, all things will eventually work together for our good. There it is. And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God and to them who are called according to his purpose. But easier said than done while you're going through the grinder. Anyway, friends, I'm going to put a link to this in the description below of Mark Dice channel. I need to purchase some of this man's book. I got a few things on my Amazon list that I plan on purchasing soon anyway. Share your thought and perspective with me. I want to hear from you. Until next time, have a good one. Bye.